All right. Dirty Sports episode 891 live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Good morning, Andy.
Morning.
Happy Khaki Thursday.
Miller Lite gang. What?
Both got the khaki Miller Lights hoodies on. Shout out to our good friends at Miller Lite for sending us these last year. Got up this morning, made some coffee, threw on my Miller Lite hoodie, opened the Zoom meeting. Andy Ruther sitting there. We're on the same page today, Andy.
We are.
So it's going to be a good one.
This was unplanned, for the record.
I've got a huge cup of coffee next to me.
When's the last time you when's the last time you had a day where you woke up and didn't have coffee?
Well, this is a terrible time to ask that question because this is my first morning cup of coffee in basically a week. No,
oh, wow.
Sorry, yesterday. Coffee, when you're like, I love coffee. You know that. You know I need my morning coffee fix. But when you're sick, at least when I'm sick, I never want dairy. I never want coffee for some reason. Like I've always taken milk or cream in my coffee. I've gotten more and more to be drinking it black occasionally. But coffee is not something I want in the morning when I get up and I'm not feeling well. So I'll do tea. And so during my week of COVID, yesterday was the first day I actually got coffee in the morning. I was out yesterday morning and got a cup of coffee. Because yesterday I tested negative for the first time in a week.
You sound a lot better. You even sound better than when we spoke on the phone yesterday.
Yeah. So feeling better. Weird. I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people have said that this was a big symptom for them, but I really didn't have a lot of like flu-like symptoms, just crazy body soreness. My back still super sore. The back of my knees super sore. Like that was the thing that triggered me into thinking I had COVID in the first place. Cause I was driving to a show last week and was like, why does it feel like I just worked out? Like I did CrossFit for the first time in 5 years and my whole body hurts. And then I was like, shit, Texas, COVID. That's how I realized I had COVID. So I'm still very sore, but yesterday, was the first day I've had coffee in a week. And today is the first day I've made coffee at home in, 9 days now or whatever. But normally, Andy, coffee every day. It's a double, it's a every morning thing. It's gives me a boost of caffeine. It's part of my daily routine. Also, as my cup says, coffee makes me poop. It's a good way to start the day. Get that first one out. Get a little lighter.
Yeah. Your coffee is like my Andy Ruther fuckboy scramble.
Yeah.
Which takes a lot of time to make. I'm realizing now that I live with somebody like the scramble is like a 30-minute process at least.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole thing. Starting to maybe reevaluate. Like I love it, but do we really need to do a 30 to 45-minute breakfast every day? I kind of love it though. When you come in town for that Bills game, I've been messing around with it, trying some new things like the Goetta, mixing the Goetta and the Cincinnati German food Goetta.
I don't know what that is.
I think we've talked about it. I don't really know what it is either. I think it's like a mixture of.
Is it meat?
Yeah, but it's like a mixture of meat and Goetta is made with meat, oats, broth, spices, often onions, and occasionally other vegetables. It's a meat and grain sausage or mush of German. It was very popular. I mean, literally, I'm looking at Wikipedia. Goetta is a meat and grain sausage or mush of German inspiration that is popular in Metro Cincinnati. It is primarily composed
What
of.
is it, Andy? Explain to me what is with Cincinnati and like thinking that they like it's the word. Cincinnati as an entire city is like a drunk frat boy when it comes. They're like, this is what we do, and everybody else is like, why? Shout out to our friends at Gold Star, but like, it's like they came home from a frat party and they're like,
No, I know.
We have that leftover spaghetti from dinner. We got these cans of chili. And they're like, bing.
So
the light bulb went off.
Yeah. So I'm on the Wikipedia page. So it is primarily composed of ground meat, pork or sausage, and or beef, pinhead oats, and spices. It was originally a dish meant to stretch out servings of meat over several meals to conserve money, and a similar dish to scrapple and liver mush.
Ugh, I know what scrapple is.
Also developed by German immigrants.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's legit. Like, I know it might not sound the best. And everybody's probably hearing this and saying, "Ooh, disgusting." It's actually good. Like, you can have a Goetta sandwich, or if you had like an egg sandwich. So here's something I'll do. Instead of doing like bacon with like bacon cheese for an egg sandwich, I might replace that with like a Goetta patty.
Mm-hmm. When I was in college at Lehigh, I think it was in my junior year or senior year, they opened Tiger Woods' favorite restaurant, Perkins, very close to my off-campus apartment. And I started to go to Perkins for breakfast occasionally. And I would always do, either an egg sandwich or like an egg plate, And I remember the first time I went in, the lady was like, "What kind of meat you want with that?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll do sausage or bacon or whatever." She's like, "Most people do a scrapple." And I was like, "Most people here in fucking off the I-78 in Pennsylvania are goddamn monsters." I was like, I literally turned into a fucking the guy from Captain Phillips. I was like, look at me. Don't ever offer me that again.
That's what's crazy about like this country is there's so many like there's so many different types of food within regions or even cities, right? Like if you go to the UK, they're known for their food, which is terrible, by the way. If you go to Italy, there's certain items what you're going to get, or name a country. Like America's crazy like that. I'm naming a thing that's big for a city.
What's great about New York is when you're in New York, the culinary, like everything that you could want restaurant wise is there. There's like, and there's full parts of town devoted to different, cultures. But the one thing we pretend doesn't exist is like mid-American trash food. They're like, "No, we will not be serving you scrapple, Goetta, or chili on spaghetti." They're like, but there is a whole section if you want Ethiopian food.
I would almost argue the food in America could be our greatest, one of our greatest like things. Like, because you have so many different people from different backgrounds that have come here. I'm big on like the fusion, right? When they combine from different ethnic backgrounds, like the food. Getting hungry just thinking about it, man. I went to Costco last night, tested their ribs for dinner last night.
Costco ribs. I gotta say, as far as doing ribs like at home, and I know there's going to be people out there who do I put them in my smoker for 58 hours. And it's like, listen, no one appreciates a good barbecue rib like me. But if you're trying to go like ribs in a minute or easy ribs, those Lloyd's ribs they sell at fucking supermarkets, those things are good. You throw them in some tinfoil, throw them in the oven for however long. I've always been a fan of those.
Maybe I'll take you. So the big rib place here is Montgomery Inn. That's the place Eddie loves. Yeah. And in fact, I think I still have a bunch of gift cards.
Let's go
to there. So
I'll be there, Andy. I arrived the 1st of January. I will start the new year with some Montgomery Inn ribs. My first Montgomery Inn experience will be how I kick off 2023.
Although we might not be able to. I don't think they're open on Mondays. So I'm gonna have to
Well,
scratch.
luckily I get there on a Sunday.
True. I'll have to look. The location on the river is really cool. It's all they got all the sports memorabilia, and it was like a real famous architect. Yeah, it's happening. So the deadline for the Bills Bengals Gold Star giveaway, I believe, is December 19th. So get those videos in. The latest update was the diss tracks, which I posted on Reddit. We listened to last episode. Joe and I's ears have finally recovered. We saw a few doctors, a few specialists. We've recovered. Again, guys, the front runners, it's not even close. The front runners, we're just going to be honest, are Matthew and Jedediah.
Can I say something? And this is no shade toward those two guys. I just I like it when these things get bubbling. I gotta say, I am a little disappointed in Bills Mafia.
I was thinking that the other day.
Bills Mafia, we'll throw each other through tables. We're throwing dildos on the field. We're fucking lighting each other on fire. And we're like, you want to go see them play on Monday Night Football against the defending AFC champ? And Bills fans are like, nah, we're good.
and again, like it's like a 7-hour drive. I mean, I'm not saying that's close, but it's not like the worst.
I hate to call out the members of the Dirtball fam that are Bills Mafia, but I know one person who shall not be named that if he weren't currently sucking the American government's dick and balls in whatever shitty naval town he's in or wherever, he'd be on the diss tracks. He'd be putting videos out there.
Well, he did here. I mean, he showed up to my parents' house, so for sure he would. I did think that the other day as well. I thought Bengals Bills, this game could be it could straight up be deciding a number 1 seed. I texted you and Randy Ruther the other day. I looked at tickets, the worst tickets at Paycor Stadium for that game on StubHub, like the shittiest seats, top row, right corner, were about $220 each. So this is going to be a hot game, Monday Night Football. I agree. Just get those videos in, guys. You have 11 days. We're going to decide on the Monday, December 19th episode. We will announce that winner. So I don't know. Maybe it's because only one can go. Is that the Bills Mafia thing? Is that the problem with our crew up there?
I don't know. I don't know. You would think even that, like my strategy, if I was thinking about going, if I was like in the I'd be like, well, whatever. These tickets are super expensive. Why don't we just win one free one and split a second one or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. So everybody get those video submissions in. You know where to find us on Twitter, Instagram at The Dirty Sports, or either of our personals. All right. So lots happening in the baseball world.
That's right.
The Padres just keep shelling out money. Like they're really trying to build something here.
So I've been on the Padres for, going back essentially to the beginning of the Dirty Slides podcast. Andy Lazarus and I have single-handedly rebuilt the Padres franchise. We called for them to go back to the Brown. They did. Playoff team, signing people. They got Machado. They trade for Soto. They get all these guys. Like we've single-handedly done that. And I came to, I had a little distaste for them in October with the Mets losing to them. But even after that, I had a week with a bad taste in my mouth. And then I was like, you know what? I hope the Padres do it. And I got to say, this is exactly what I was complaining about the Mets not doing last episode, that I completely and totally approve of this strategy. And I tweeted about it last night. I went through it. Essentially, half of the league, half of Major League Baseball, give or take a team or two, but half of the league have not won a World Series this millennium. Like I think there's 14 or 15 teams, different teams that have won in the last 22 years. If you are one of the teams that has not won since we had, access to the internet, since the Y2K bug, you have to approach it as, listen, let's get a World Series, and then we will figure out how to be competitive long-term. This is something that I complained about the Mets last episode. I said, you can be George Steinbrenner or you can be Billy Beane, but you cannot be both. You cannot fence it. It's impossible to strategize for how to be successful long-term and how to attack a championship. If you're the Houston Astros, you let Justin Verlander go, that's fine. You let Correa go, that's fine. You have multiple World Series in the last few years. You keep reloading with this crazy farm system. You did it with the small budget. You have a game plan. But the Astros have been good and competitive and World Series contending for the last 7-8 years. We're now looking at teams like my team that we haven't won a World Series in 35 years, 37 years. You need to try to win a single World Series, and the Padres are doing that. There was this.
They also, on top of, obviously they signed Bogarts for $280 million, but the report was that they offered Aaron Judge $400 million, 10 years.
Right. They're trying. They traded for Soto at the deadline. They gave Machado a big deal. They gave Tatis a big deal. They gave Bogarts a big deal. They tried to give Judge a big deal. They went and they traded for pitching. They went and they traded at the deadline last year. Their strategy is, who gives a fuck if Xander isn't good in the 8th year of his 11-year deal? Which is precisely what I was talking about last episode. 5 years is too long for Jacob deGrom. Who gives a fuck about what happens in year 4 and 5? You just signed Verlander to 2 with a possible 3. Why wouldn't you do that for the number 1 free agent? Well, I love that the Mets have a new owner. I love when teams, say we're committed to turning around a franchise, but you have to start with one. You have to start with one. And the Padres, their goal is to win a single World Series. It's so very clear. Will Soto get re-signed? How do you sign all of these guys? Tatis has an opt-out at some point. What if he opts out? They don't give a shit because they're signing 11-year deals with a 3-year plan. Because who gives a shit? If 11 years from now, they've had 5 consecutive losing seasons, but they have 2 World Series in the 6 years before that, no one gives a fuck. You don't hear a lot of Royals fans complaining on the internet these days. They had a fucking plan. They won a World Series. Now they're figuring out their next fucking plan. The Marlins, we've seen, how many times did the Marlins do this? They went all in. They got a World Series. They fucking sell all the guys. They figure it out. They rebuild. They do it again. You cannot strategize to be good long-term and to be good short-term unless you have so much success that you are the Astros and you go, we never mortgaged a farm system. We never did whatever. You have to start somewhere. And it starts with one. And the Padres, in my opinion, all the people that are mocking the length and the cost of that deal, you don't get it. There's no salary cap in baseball. They don't give a shit. They're going for one.
Well, that should be the goal for every sport, regardless of baseball or any other. Like that should be. And we have a call, and I'll play it later when we talk NFL. There's a call about what's happening right now at the Rams. How, did they mortgage too much for a Super Bowl. And that's not even a question for me personally. That's all you want, right? You want that one ring. Like as a fan, I don't know.
But even with the lack of success since Brady left the Patriots have fucking 7 titles. So you don't need to go, well, we need to do this right now. It's like, okay, you built something. Now we step back. We go, we figure out how to build it again. Right. Even my Giants, as a Giants fan, I'm not, a single Super Bowl is all we care about. Go get a Super Bowl. If you're the Minnesota Vikings, your decisions should be based on winning one Super Bowl and then figuring it the fuck out. If you disband after, who gives a shit? Win a single fucking Super Bowl. If you're the Jets, win a single fucking Super Bowl.
No, for sure. And that's how I feel that, that's how it should be in any sport. Like, I would take winning a title for my team and then kind of sucking for the next 10 years. Because that title will be pretty sweet. Now it does reach a certain point where you're like, okay, we got to win another title. We can't win a title once every 30 years.
Right. For sure. But I'm not even talking about the teams who have a title versus teams that don't. Obviously, the Jets have a title at one point, but like 10 years, 15 years. If you don't have a title in the last 15 years, essentially, if you're looking at people who are middle-aged, if you're looking at people who are 38, who don't have a title since before they were teenagers, you need to look at it as we essentially don't have a title.
Well, that's me.
Two decades, and then it's like you don't have one. The Reds essentially, for all intents and purposes, the Mets, for all intents and purposes, don't have a title.
Yeah.
How old is someone that can literally remember being in the seats?
Well, that's the thing.
50?
I can remember that was like the difference for me talking to my dad, right? Because the Reds won in 75 and 76 and then 90. So that was cool for me as a child to hear him talk about going to World Series games then. Because 14, 15 years, it still was fresh in his memory of hey, I was a young man who had a child and I would go to World Series games, and then it wasn't that long after that. But you're right. It sucks. It sucks when you have droughts that go this long. I was a little surprised when I saw the Padres news on Aaron Judge. Good for him. He took less money. Now it was $40 million a year, but you usually don't see guys turn down more money. You really don't. Yeah. And I know someone will say, dude, what's the difference between 360 million and 400 million? That's still a lot of money.
Yeah. But also he's in New York. New York, I know at this point you can be a superstar anywhere in the world, or anywhere, certainly in the country. If you're the star of a team, they will promote you and they will whatever. But baseball, especially, very bad at promoting their players. I mean, look at Mike Trout. Now San Diego is building something, and San Diego is a fun team to root for. And, a lot of people don't like the Dodgers, and the Padres are sort of the anti Dodgers. The people love to root for the Giants and the Padres just because they're not the Dodgers. But there is a value with being in New York City, especially in baseball.
Yeah. Well, the Padres, the brown has been brought back. You and I are rocking a khaki brown, right?
Yeah.
Little similar color with Miller Lite. So now I think would be a good time to remind everyone to celebrate these holidays with your friends and drink some Miller Lite. We're both rocking the Miller Lite gear, as we already said earlier, right? 'Tis the season to get together with good friends and great drinks, and that means 'tis Miller time, Joe Praino. We talk about World Series droughts. I just mentioned 1975, one of the last three Reds World Series rings. Let me talk better there. Well, since 1975, Miller Lite has been the beer with taste you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer. And we're rocking some great Miller Lite gear. And I want to remind everybody to go visit the Miller Lite shop at shop.millerlite.com. They have some great holiday gear there.
Andy, I visit shop.millerlite.com every day. This is separate from our sponsorship. I'm not required to. I visit shop.millerlite.com every day because I'm constantly looking. I saw it yesterday. They have a sweater polo. They have a polo shirt that is designed and feels like a holiday sweater. And I was like, I'm getting one of those. I'm getting one.
Yeah, they got great gear over there. So go check that out, guys. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to millerlite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you so you can give the gift of Miller time this holiday season. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. 'Tis Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Yeah, these are some of my go-to, these hoodies.
Yeah, it's a great hoodie.
Right?
Yeah.
Like especially for the winter. Although you don't really have that. But
it's been chilly here. It's been cold. It's nice to put on the Miller Lite. I put on this Miller Lite hoodie yesterday when I walked out for that first cup of coffee in a week.
This hoodie would go good on Deion now that he's in Colorado.
Oh,
we haven't talked about and I know we don't talk college football, but I want to talk about it for a minute because I think it's really cool to see the development of Deion Sanders' career. We all know I'm a huge Deion guy. I've been Deion. I miss him. I miss him on NFL Network. 21st and Prime. I used to love watching that after games on Sunday. I think he has great insight, and I think he is just a smart football guy. And I'd be lying if I would say I was surprised how well he did at Jackson State with zero coaching experience.
Well, but this is the college football equivalent of Coach Cal at UK, right? Like, this is a guy who, when you're in college, and I mean, I would almost go as far as to say, like, you look at like an Urban Meyer. Look at what Urban Meyer did when he was in the NFL. Look at Saban in the NFL. There are guys who have tried to transition from college to the pros, and it doesn't go well because where they truly make their winning happen is in recruiting. And if you're Deion Sanders, recruiting is just so easy for you. And that's what Colorado, I'm sure, saw in making him an offer, which is like the actual strategery when it comes to coaching. Who gives a shit? Especially, in that, especially in Colorado, where it's like, let's just trot out these crazy good recruits. I mean, he's already got guys in the transfer portal ready to come. In college, it's all about your talent level. You could go up against a coach that's way better than you strategically, and you might still win. And that's what he's doing. And so it was kind of a no-brainer to me for some school to throw a bunch of money at Deion to put themselves back on the map.
Well, I was hoping, because his three choices, he had University of Cincinnati as one because their coach just left for Wisconsin. And I was hoping that he would come here. Also, in my opinion, with Cincinnati is going to the Big 12, to me, that's way more that's more appealing than the minute USC and UCLA leave the Pac-12, like what is it, right? Like as a conference.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's obviously going to make it easier for a team like Colorado.
Sure. But
Take
when you're
out
choosing between just literally the state of Colorado being in Boulder versus being in the University of Cincinnati, kind of also a no-brainer there.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if this matters for these young kids. Do you think it matters? And I think it's a legitimate question. I'm gonna bring race into it for a minute. Do you think it matters if you're going to like Cincinnati is basically probably 50-50 black white? Like, do you think it matters if you're a young black athlete and you're like, I'm going to the whitest city ever, Boulder?
Probably not.
You don't think?
No, they're probably not. It's probably not part of their thought process.
You don't think? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I don't know if you want to be around like all white people, like, and you know what I'm saying? Like that type of, you know what I'm saying? Like the Boulder type, like money, let's call it what it is. I don't know. And I don't know if it matters.
I mean, but like, also, you're looking at Coach Prime. You're looking at these sponsorship deals now. He's just gonna be Boulder's version of Oprah. He's like, and you get a Subaru Outback, and you get a Subaru Outback, you get a Patagonia down jacket, and you get a Patagonia down jacket.
I mean, they introduced him. They introduced him as Coach Prime.
Yeah,
it's not even Deion Sanders.
I think the most interesting thing about this story, and I really, really, really dislike it, and I really dislike the people who are saying that it is okay, is the people who are shaming him for leaving an HBCU as if he's somehow abandoned the black community.
Like he's selling out.
Yeah. To me, this reeks of this. This is such a horrible conversation to have. And I've seen a lot of people I respect have it, because essentially what you're saying is that a guy who had no coaching experience goes to Jackson State, puts it on the map, and then gets an opportunity. And you're essentially saying that a black guy literally has to limit his success.
Sure.
To me, this reeks of some sort of weird racism, because, like, what was he's supposed to stay at Jackson State forever? Were they gonna pay him $5 million a year? He did his job there.
Well, if anything,
Jackson State on the map, Jackson State will continue to be successful post prime because of him.
Yeah, and if anything, his success will create more opportunities for young black coaches that go to HBCU schools to then get that opportunity. You would hope. You would think in theory, right?
Yeah. And this whole thing of he was using those kids and he used that school. It's like, yeah. So now you want him to not do it because why? Like, because that's what every coach ever does, right? Urban Meyer used Bowling Green. Urban Meyer used Notre Dame. Urban Meyer used Florida. Urban Meyer used Ohio State to get to the NFL. Like, John Calipari used UMass.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody uses every school.
And I don't know if it's true, but I did see a tweet that said Deion put a lot of his own money on the line in Jackson State.
Of course he did.
That he bought the new locker room and the new tennis courts, which have nothing to do with his team. All these new designs, the players' lounge, all these fancy meals that he would post online, those were all on his dime. And he used a lot of personal funds throughout his tenure there. So, like, the idea that he was using anybody, he put his money where his mouth was, so to speak.
And listen, I used to work at the Princeton Review. You can name colleges that like most people have never heard of. There's a 50-50 chance I will know where in the country that college is. I had no idea Jackson State was an HBCU.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Morehouse, Grambling, Southern. I know half a dozen of them.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know Jackson State fell on that. Deion Sanders put Jackson State on the map.
Agreed.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up put them on the map. And now you're saying, well, we like our black men successful, but only to a point.
Well, I would argue that's racist.
Yeah.
And it's the argument that it's like the guy who grows up in a rough inner city area and becomes successful, and then he buys a house in the burbs.
Listen,
right? It's like
Shannon Sharp tweeted that 4 days ago or something like that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He tweeted like, are you still living in the neighborhood you grew up in?
Yeah. And by the way, that goes for anybody, regardless of race, right? If you grew up in a rough area or a poor area, wherever you're from, and then you become successful at your profession and you leave, are you a sellout? No.
And also, I'm not saying that there's not that there wouldn't be some sort, like, had he said, I'm never leaving, I'm staying here, I'm going to make Jackson State a national championship contender, like, that is my goal. Like, I'm going to stay here as long as it takes. I will retire from coaching before I leave Jackson State. Sure, that's going above and beyond. But like mocking him or criticizing him or throwing shade at him for leaving, to me, is despicable.
Yeah, it's not fair.
He used those kids. What the fuck?
I don't even know what that means, Joe. Like, what does that mean?
But guess what? And this is something I've talked about for a long time. If you even thought that or said it, then you should be on the Joe Praino side of the picket line that says abolish college sports as a whole. It's all using the school was using those kids. The school is using those kids in Colorado. Every college athlete that plays college basketball or college football is being exploited and used to split hairs and say, well, he's using that. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, there was another report about another coach, a good buddy of ours, the Dirty Sports Podcast, and it's been refuted that the reports were untrue. There was rumors for a bit that old coach Ed Orgeron, college football championship winning coach, who then proceeded to go 500 after Burrow left, was going to go out to Las Vegas, which I thought would be an interesting fit at UNLV. Now, he himself has refuted those claims, saying UNLV never reached out to him. He's not a candidate, apparently, for the UNLV job. I did like the idea of Cajun Ed O coaching a team in Las Vegas. I wonder if we can get him on the line, if he could maybe clarify what happened or how he would feel about coaching in Sin City. I know Coach has been kind of under the radar, minus a few times where apparently he tries to pick up women at gas stations. So I wonder how he'd do in Las Vegas.
Ed Ruther, thank you for calling me this morning. Get me on the phone. We need to clarify some things. We can talk all you want about me joining UNLV, USC, UCLA, the Jackson State, Morehouse, Grambling. Honestly, I'd like to join the HBCU. But UNLV, I got a phone. They ain't never called me. I'm over here. My phone, Andy, I got one of them fancy iPhones. It tells you who's calling. You look at it, it's if you don't even have their number, iPhone, it'll guess for you. It'll say, maybe UNLV. I didn't even get it. I didn't even get a maybe UNLV. They didn't call me on the phone. I already coached a Rebels. I'd have coached a running Rebels. I'd have thought about it. I love Las Vegas. I always go. You know, you ever see that Wesley Snipes movie where they always say, always bet on black? Not me. I bet on red. You know why? Because I'm at a roulette table. I'm screaming. My face is red. My ball sack's red. Bet on red, never dead. That's what I say. Tails never fails. Red never dead. But they ain't called. I was even talking to my family. I said, y'all check your iPhone, see if you got a maybe UNLV in there. In your call log. By the way, what is a call log? A piece of lumber that tracks your phone calls. I always see that. I think to myself, that'd be interesting. Can I see a history of my calls presented on some lumber? A call log. We ain't getting no call from UNLV until we get a call. I ain't going nowhere. Jackson State, though, I'm available. I'm black inside.
Coach O, good to have him back on the show.
That's great to be back on the show, and it's been too long.
Yeah, it's been a while, Coach. Well, I appreciate you calling in to clarify.
A lot of people saying Deion Sanders using those kids. How about Joe Burrow using me? A lot of people talking about he the best quarterback in the NFL. Right? Not just up and leaving Coach O. I thought we was a package deal. You want to hire me on the Bengals. So that I can say once again, suck my tiger dick.
Coach O, thanks for joining us.
I'll come down here, visit you in Cincinnati. Ooh, get some of them ribs you were talking about earlier in the show. Get some of them biscotti with the chili on it. Joel, you got close last year, but you ain't win. Don't forget who was your daddy when you winning. Zach, he ain't even got a K in his name. You missing a letter. You know what letter you missing? Oh, that's what you missing.
Coach O, everyone.
You ever see that movie? Eddie, I love that movie. You ever see that Office Space movie?
Yeah.
He said, show me your old face. Oh. You had Coach O to your sideline in the NFL. Joey B, my son. Then you win a Super Bowl, and then we'll all see your old face. Oh, we won the Super Bowl. Oh. Wow. I'm from a place where there's 3 Ks all over town. So we got a K to spare, if you know what I mean, Zach. We come up there, I'll bring one of the Ks with us.
I know exactly what you mean, Coach. Well, thanks, Coach. I don't want to keep you too long. I know your phone's ringing off the hook.
It is, but I don't recognize any of the numbers. They just keep giving me a maybe this, maybe that. I'm just waiting for one that says, maybe your next coaching job. Until then, I'll be hanging out by the 9-to-1 octane, waiting for a piece of ass to come through. You know what I'm talking about?
All right. We got to end this. Coach O is out of control.
Sometimes I hang by the diesel. You know what I mean?
All right, Coach O, everybody. Coach O.
Trying to get that diesel.
All right, Coach O. Getting
Suck
a little.
my tiger diesel.
All right, Coach O. Getting a little rambunctious. There's kids listening, Coach. Man, it's been a while since Coach O joined the show, and a little fired up today. He, you know, I feel like all that downtime getting extremely sexual at the end there.
Yeah.
He needs a job. I mean, look, here's the thing about Coach O. He makes points. Burrow's not winning titles with Zach right now. I'm just saying.
Right. That's right.
You know. And you know what? Maybe Joe did use him. Because who welcomed him in the transfer portal when he was third string at Ohio State?
Yeah. Left Ohio, goes and wins a chip. That has to go back to Ohio.
It's unbelievable. Good to hear from Coach O, though. Do you want to hop into some picks?
Sure. Let's do it.
Trying to see if we have any other stuff before we hop into picks. Nothing I really care about. Right?
Sure. I don't know. I gotta admit, I did not look at the rundown today.
I mean, I put on there that Brittany Griner is coming back, but to me, that's like, nah, I don't really care to talk about it. And what's there to say? You know?
Yeah. How does this change the upcoming Phoenix Soul season? Honestly, I don't know where she plays. Does she play in Phoenix still? I don't know.
Are they the Soul?
I think so.
That'd be a fun game to play.
I think
You know,
they're the Phoenix
when you're
Soul like Suns, right?
You know when you were a kid and you had to match
SOL Soul.
You had to match with lines,
Yeah.
like in school. I think it'd be fun to see like a match. You'd have to match the WNBA team to their mascot nickname.
Phoenix Mercury, Andy.
Oh. Gotcha.
I want to do it right now. I want to do it right now, Andy. They're not the Soul because there's another team that is the Sun, the blank Sun. Who are they?
Just Sun?
Yep, just Sun. And it's not Phoenix or the Mercury.
Orlando.
No.
San Antonio.
Connecticut.
Wait, so Connecticut?
Yeah.
I don't think of the Sun when I think Connecticut.
Well, it's because they play at Mohegan Sun Arena.
No, their nickname's not the Sun.
It is. How about the Dream? Do you know what city the Dream is?
Seattle.
Nope. That's the Atlanta Dream.
I'm 0 for 2. Let's do a few more.
Yeah. Seattle's team, not the Dream. They are the.
I wouldn't know unless I had options. What are they?
They're the Seattle Storm.
Okay.
The Wings. Do you know the Wings?
The Wings?
Yeah.
You're just making up names now.
Nope. The Wings.
San Antonio.
Dallas. Close. You know the Sparks.
LA, yeah.
The Aces. Do you know
Las
the Aces?
Vegas. Las Vegas.
Okay. So you got two. The Sky.
Phoenix.
Nope. We already did the Phoenix Mercury.
Sky.
Another guess for the Sky.
Minnesota.
Nope. Chicago. So we got the Las Vegas Aces, the Chicago Sky, Los Angeles Sparks, Seattle Storm, Dallas Wings, Connecticut Sun, Phoenix Mercury, the Mystics. You know the Mystics? I would have thought Connecticut. I thought maybe we were doing like a Mystic Pizza sort of thing. The Mystics.
Is that Orlando?
No. Fun fact, Andy, there is no team in Orlando.
The Mystics. Tulsa.
Washington. I guess DC maybe?
Does Tulsa have a team?
No. There are three. Sorry, there's only two teams because we also have the Atlanta Dream, which we covered. The Lynx.
That's Minnesota.
Correct. And the Fever.
There's a Fever?
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Indiana.
And I know Liberty is New York.
Yeah. Oh, why aren't they on the list? Was that not all the teams? Is there not just 9 teams?
I think there's 12.
Yeah, that's weird that for some reason the list that it gave me only left off the New York Liberty. That's it. We've covered all the teams.
I would love to see the numbers. I really would. I'd love to see like the actual accounting numbers on the WNBA. I don't know what's funnier to me.
I just want to say I'd also go to Aces. I love Las Vegas.
Can you imagine if you were in Las Vegas visiting and somebody was like, hey, I got tickets for the Aces? Like, of all the things you can do in Las Vegas, somebody's like, hey, I got the Aces game. My favorite thing is when people defend it. And by the way, I don't care. Like, if you like the WNBA, cool. My favorite thing to do, though, is when people like defend it and you're like, why are you so angry?
Yeah. Do you think on average, the cost of a buffet in Los Angeles is greater than or less than the average Aces ticket?
More in the LA.
In Vegas, sorry. A buffet. Like, what do you think of your typical buffet?
Well, it depends. You know, it depends. Obviously, nicer casinos. But if you average them all together,
average $20.
Yeah, average $20-$25.
The average Aces ticket's got to be less than that.
100% it is. Let's split it in. Average Las Vegas Aces ticket prices. The cheapest tickets are usually $30 to $40. And this is just one thing.
Yeah.
Seats around mid-court in the upper level. Yeah. Tickets start as low as $20.
Yeah. But also, if you pay like a VIP, like if you get a $200 Aces ticket, I bet you can coach the team for the day.
Yeah, probably.
I might even do it.
That'd be nice, right? So we are in week 14.
Is it week 14? Week 14. Wow.
It is week 14.
5 weeks of the NFL season left.
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. So with it being week 14, you've had 14 weeks to sign up at Prize Picks. This will be your 14th week, Dirtballs. You could actually sign up before that, but 14 weeks of the NFL season. So don't waste time. We got a Thursday night game tonight. Go on your little phone, your little iPhone, like Coach O was talking about, and download the Prize Pick app and play daily fantasy sports with us. Make sure to use promo code DIRTY when you sign up. Once again, you will be competing against projections, not people. You can play all the great sports, which includes WNBA. This is true. They have all the sports on there. You can do your projections. So all first-time users, when you deposit and use promo code DIRTY, receive a 100% instant deposit match up to that $100. So you could do a little parlay tonight, a little double action on the NFL and a WNBA game. I don't know if the WNBA is playing tonight. If they're not, you guys know what I mean. So go ahead and do that now. Let's look at our picks. Now we have calls. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of put the calls within our picks.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
Based on the teams that are playing. So tonight's game is Rams, Raiders. And the Rams just signed Baker Mayfield. You and I talked about him last episode.
Yes.
It's a 6.5-point Raiders spread. It is in LA. I don't know if Baker's going to play. I want to propose a question to you.
Yes.
And I had this conversation actually yesterday with Michael Majid. And I said, I'm going to bring this up to Praino on the Dirty Sports Podcast. Better career for Baker Mayfield. His NFL, particularly his NFL career.
Right.
Or his commercial career.
Well, I'll say this.
Because he won a playoff game.
People, not just you, other people I was never this guy, but not just you. I know you were always a big fan of Baker's commercial career. You're like,
I
he's
was.
pretty good. I've heard a lot of people say that. I would say I've heard more people say he's pretty good at commercials than he's pretty good at quarterback. So I'm going to go commercial, better commercial career.
I think so.
Consistency.
I think you're right. I think he's had a better commercial career. Again, he's got that one playoff win. Now, I was all against the pick, if you remember. And then I said, oh, maybe I was wrong. Now I think I'm right again. I was all against the pick. They were reaching at number one, but it's also a crapshoot.
Everybody. I mean, I don't think that I would argue there was never a moment where people who were against that pick were wrong.
Okay.
Because there was just always rumors that, if they didn't pick him, the Jets would have picked him. Well, I don't think that that's proof that makes it right. Like, I still think if that was your guy, you could have done something else and still gotten him.
Yeah. So think about this 6.5 Raiders faves. They're going to have the home crowd. It's in LA.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to play a call. I alluded to it earlier, referencing the Rams, where they are now, where their future is going to be with how they played the Super Bowl run as far as picks and everything they gave up.
What's up, boys? Let's talk about the Rams. Could they have sold their soul for that title? Granted, Rams fans, or who call themselves Rams fans, will always have that championship. But I think they are doomed for a number of years. There's even rumor that Sean McVay is done after this year. Aaron Donald probably going to retire. Matthew Stafford probably going to retire. That is going to be a utter disaster of a rebuild. Can you think of any other Super Bowl winners that have fallen off so bad? I've gone back, can't think of any, but stay dirty, boys.
So
well,
I was gonna say I cannot think of any off the top of my head that have fallen off so quickly.
Well, I mean, no team has immediately been like, I think like this is historic, like through 12 games or 13 games or whatever, no defending Super Bowl champ has this bad a record or whatever. But I mean, the Eagles won a Super Bowl and then kind of were a disaster for a few years. They've since fired their coach. They're back, but like, I mean, here's the thing. And this is what the reason it came up in the first place was we were talking about it with baseball. This is the huge difference between baseball and football is when you commit a ton of money in football, you can ruin your salary cap situation for years to come. And that is what happened with the Rams, in their Super Bowl run, giving away picks, signing guys to deals. No one is shocked that this happened. This was being talked about even during during their Super Bowl run. It's win or go home. But I would argue, as I was arguing about the Padres, as I was arguing about my Mets, obviously a different sport, but you're the Los Angeles Rams. You were in your first season in SoFi Stadium with fans. You're in New City for, I guess, was 4 or 5 seasons at that point. No brainer.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? With that, like, LA fans suck generally. Like, there are definitely LA fans who were on the Rams last year and now are off the Rams and will not think about football again until the Rams are good again, because LA fans are so fucking it's just, LA fans are a pathetic fan base. You see Lakers flags out the top of the car. You see Kings flags at the top of the car when those teams are good. When they're not, no one does it. I'm a Mets fan. When the Mets are bad, I throw on my hat and wear it around all baseball season. When the Mets are good, I throw on my hat and wear it around all baseball season. It's just the way it goes. That's real fandom. LA fans are not like that. But you started building a fan base with those great teams, and then the one that goes on and wins the Super Bowl. There's that you can't put a value on that.
Well, and that's my thing. So it's not just last year. You know, like I feel like it's almost like our memory's too short, guys. You know, they come to LA in 2016. The first season's is just a complete disaster under Fisher. After that, everything's great. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They make the playoffs, 4 of them. They make 2 Super Bowls. Like, we're talking about a good 5-year run. If they suck for the next 5 years, they've just been good for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I view it.
But it's such a long-term win when you win a Super Bowl. I talked about these guys I met in the parking lot of the Giants Cowboys game. They were a Cowboys podcast from Canada. And I asked them, I go, how did you guys even, you live in like the middle of fucking Saskatchewan or whatever. I go, how did you become Cowboys fans? And then I answered for them. I go, let me guess. You guys were kids in the early 90s when the Cowboys were winning a bunch of Super Bowls? And they're like, yep, that's exactly it. They were on TV all the time because they were winning Super Bowls. And that's how we became a fan. And look at Cowboys fandom. There's tens of thousands of Cowboys fans who exist for that reason and that reason alone. Cowboys haven't won shit.
Yeah, it's true. So let's get to this pick. 6.5 Raiders favorites. Wolford's questionable. The Rams have like been hanging in games, man.
I'll go first on this one. Their quarterback, based on the single fact alone that Baker Mayfield, who was picked up off of fucking waivers yesterday, might play in this game. I'm going with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are they're playing for their coaching staff in a sense. They like this Raiders team is interesting because you truly they've been playing good football as of late. And also they've sort of played good football at moments throughout the whole season. They lost a few games. Like this Raiders team, I believe, is better than their record. And I think that they win this game. And I've gotten burned on the Rams the last 2 weeks. And
so you have, and the Rams have been good to me the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think that's like at some point, my take is I've taken 2 chances. Actually, I bet against the Rams, the Chiefs game, and then but I think at some point that runs its course. And I think on a short week, quarterback situation is questionable.
It's 6.5.
Yeah, no Aaron Donald. I could see a big blowout in this game. So I'm going to go Raiders as well. All right, next up, Jets Bills. This game is up to 10 points. It's in Buffalo. I guess it opened at 10 as well. This is a tough one. So the Jets have been, they win a game with Mike White. They throw 57 times last week with him. They lose a tough one. The Bills seem to maybe figure it out a little in New England. 10 is a lot. I like the Bills. I'm not ready to go 10 points. I'm going Jets.
I'm also going Jets. I just think this is going to be a good game. The Bills probably win. And the question of, do the Bills get a late touchdown and cover? Because I think this is going to be a good game. It may be Bills from wire to wire, but I think that it being a division game, I think the Jets are in it in some capacity the whole game. And
correct.
Hopefully till the end and not like a late touchdown going away.
Yeah, I agree. And it's still, here's the thing with it's not like the Bills offense. They're still not just like racking up points and yards like they were. They're just not. All right. Next up, Battle of Ohio. Browns, Bengals.
What's the spread at?
It's at 5.5 right now. It opened at it opened at 3.5.
I love the Bengals in this game. Everybody is
Interesting.
Everybody is on the Battle of Ohio and
Burrow's never beat the Browns ever.
Yeah. Don't.
He's 0-5, I think. I think he's 0-5.
I just think, what are we really talking about here? That, like, I understand that, you know, it's the NFL and from week to week, whatever, but it's like the way the Bengals have been playing and putting it together. I just don't see the Browns keeping up offensively. And I don't even see the Browns with a strategy of running the ball and slowing this game down. I just think that at some point this game gets away from them. I've loved the Bengals in this game since Monday. The spread's gone up 2 points. I love the Bengals. Randy Ruther is probably driving his car off the road right now because I've jinxed them, or his scooter, whatever he's driving off the road right now. I've been on and off the Bengals as a team the whole year, but it's just like at some point, you know, they're playing such good football, and we're a week into Deshaun Watson coming back to the NFL. I mean, this seems to me, I'll say this: if the Bengals don't win this game and cover, it makes me question them a little bit more, because everybody's like, the Bengals might be the second best team in the AFC. The Bengals might go to the Super Bowl again. It's like, well, then come in, step on the neck of the team that's in your division. Joe Burrow's never been. I'm on the Bengals.
Well, before I make a pick, I'm going to play a call in reference to the current Andy Ruther situation in the Bengals.
I'm glad this phone call was made, because let me say something. I feel like I know who this call is from. I got a DM about you and your Bengals fandom, and I said, why are you DMing me? This should be a phone call on the Dirty Sports hotline.
Well, there's 2 calls. Okay. I'll play them both. One half the call is for me. The other half is for you. This one is just straight fire coming at me hot.
Hey, boys, it's Gage, Minnesota Dirtball, longtime listener. Just wanted to call to say I got some beef with Andy right now. He's not committing to his Bengals fandom, and it's really frustrating because, you know, you're talking about all these weapons the Bengals have, and it's true. They're really stacked. But, I mean, you're talking about Samaje Perine. Like, bro, he's a fine player. He's in the NFL. He's been in the NFL for a while. But who the fuck is Samaje Perine? He's fallen into the end zone 3 times because this team's stacked and Joe Mixon's missing time. The only people that are sucking this guy off and talking about, oh, we've only got like 1 year left of Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, and all this stacked team, and Samaje Perine is a huge fucking Bengals fan. Andy, get over it. You're a bigger Bengals fan than Randy at this point. Come on, dog. Condoms are for your Bengals fandom. Get over it. Come on, man.
Whoa, shots fired. All right, I'm going to explain myself. There's a few things since I heard this call. One, I'm watching them closer probably than I ever have in recent memory because I live tweet, right? So here's the thing. I definitely am bringing bias in because, like, full disclosure, guys, when the Bengals do well, I do well, right? Like, my content does well. The planning, the ideas we have for the partnership do well. Don't shake your head. Let me finish. So that money talks. So like there's, and that's the truth. I am incentivized by like, dude, I want the Bengals to win. This is good for me. This is good for social. This is good for all these things. Cause now like, it's not just social. I'm going to events involving the Bengals. So like all those things are happening. So that helps. Also in the past, I probably hedged way too hard because I was being stubborn, right? Concerning Samaje Perine, and I don't know why he's hung up on this Samaje Perine. He started the last 3 games with Joe Mixon out, concussion. I'm just going to read the stats. His last 3 games versus Joe Mixon's previous 3 games. Samaje Perine, 330 total yards, 4 touchdowns. Joe Mixon's previous 3 starting, 361 yards, 4 total touchdowns. So there's a 31-yard difference in 2 touchdowns, which includes a 5-touchdown Joe Mixon game. All I'm saying is he's legit. Like, I think he's not the starter. I would keep Joe Mixon the starter. He's back. It's a 2-headed monster. All I'm saying is they are stacked. There is not a team as deep as the Bengals weapon-wise. But that all brings me to this, and this is before the call was even left. I was in Costco last night, and I saw some Bengals gear. And you know what? I just went with my gut.
Unreal.
And for those watching, I just put on a Bengals winter hat. For the first time, I think, since the Carson Palmer jersey, or in that era, like 2005, 2010, I bought a piece of Bengals gear.
Now, I think let me speak on behalf of dirtballs everywhere, and maybe your friends and family who we've heard tales of you screaming at neighbors and whatever, Zach Taylor, Mike Brown, Andy Dalton, all these things. I'm going to put it as simply as I can, Andy. There's nothing worse when it comes to sports fandom than a bandwagoner.
Okay.
And you, sir, when it comes to the Bengals, are the ultimate bandwagoner. I mean, the ultimate bandwagoner. You're from Cincy. You're a Bengals fan. You moved to LA. You continue to root for the Bengals. You go home. You watch a Bengals playoff game. They lose. You throw out your Carson Palmer jersey.
I still have it.
You throw your hands to the sky. You make a weird proclamation about you'll never root for this team. You didn't say as long as Andy Dalton's here. You didn't say as long as the coach is here. You said as long as this guy's the owner, I'm not going to be a fan of this team. Then they get so bad. They get the first overall pick. They get a franchise-changing quarterback. And you show up to the back door with your bowl, your empty bowl. May I have some soup? May I have some soup? Soup for a homeless fan. You immediately on the train.
Well, that's not true.
Literally on and off the bandwagon.
That's not true.
On and off the bandwagon.
They made the Super Bowl last year. I wasn't on the train. You and I said this, and that's literally the title of an episode. You can't underestimate this partnership that I have. It'd be like a Miller Lite partnership you have with a team. I've been standing again. I can go back to conversations I've had with arguments, fights with my own family over the last 25 years of standing for Gold Star versus that other brand in this city. And they approach me and they say, hey, man, we want to work with you.
Well, listen,
Bengals content.
I've been standing Miller Lite. I've been saying, you go back to the Kooks of Comedy. I've been saying Miller Lite, the official sponsor of this. Finally, they come around. You don't see me wearing a cheese head. I'm not a Packers fan.
Yeah, but that's a little different. I don't think that's the best analogy. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm like die hard.
But you are. But this is why dirtballs have an issue. Is suddenly you're you're talking Bengals every show. You're talking.
They're one of the best teams in the NFL.
You're rooting the Bengals. You root at we know, Andy. We know. We see it. You're a Bengals fan now. But hold on a second. A Bengals fan.
Hold on a second. And you got to answer this dead serious. Like, do you think if I'm not doing this, where I'm not so involved with Bengals stuff, again, every week where I'm so involved, do you think it'd be where I'm at now?
maybe not, but also you're back in Cincinnati and they're good. This started long before Gold Star. We've all watched it. Gold Star was the nail in the coffin to bring Andy Ruther back. But I mean, we haven't seen the Rams hat. When's the last time we saw the Rams hat? When's the last time we saw the Chargers hoodie?
I just wore. Dude, that's the thing. This is the irony.
And also the irony of the Rams are down. The Chargers are down. Suddenly, Andy Ruther, no, forget the investment in the Chargers tickets and the.
I gave those up after.
Yeah, and the PSL and the Rams and McVay is in my bay, and they went and got a Super Bowl. I mean, we were just talking about the Rams and building a fan, but they got you your Super Bowl. You were off them before you were rooting for the Bengals in that Super Bowl.
Maybe I was deep down.
And it's okay. By the way, it's okay. You were a lifelong Bengals fan. I think what people what rubs people the wrong way is the absolute by the way, totally appropriate bailing on the Bengals when you did. But the claim of not coming back until ownership changes or until they're really good
Well, look, a lot has happened, right? And they always talk on these reality shows about their
that
journey.
B on that hat is for bandwagon, Andy.
And that's fine. They talk about
we've gone through many. We went through old Dent Face. We had Vanilla Sky. We go all the way back to Cream Pie Andy. Is that the nickname we should be bringing back? Cream Pie Andy? No. We're calling it Bandwagon Andy, Bandy Andy.
And look, and that's fine. That's completely fine.
He's on the Andy wagon.
Like I said, this is my sports fandom is a wild journey. And the funny part is my neighbor said something the other day. I'm walking Roscoe and I'm wearing the Chargers hoodie. And he's like, "What, dude?" Because I still wear that all the time. And that's what's funny is like you're saying. In fact, one day I was out there this was just last week. I'm wearing the Chargers hoodie and the Rams winter hat. And my other so the first story is that neighbor, he knows that I do stuff for Gold Star, and he's like diehard Bengals. And he's like, "Dude, I don't get it, man. Like, you're wearing a Chargers?" And I was like, "Oh, it's complicated." And then it happened again with my other neighbors. Like, "Dude, you're in all this LA gear." And look, it is what it is. I bought the hat last night. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a hat. It'd be nice to have a Bengals winter hat. I don't have any Bengals gear. I'm not going crazy. I do a lot of work for them, not them, but associated with them. Look, I'm not out here getting tattoos like Randy Ruther. You can call me Bandy Andy. I don't care.
You got the B on your hat. You are Bandy Andy. All the shade that's been thrown at Tug Coker all for these years, all is random sports things.
Yeah, but I joke. I my shade is always in good fun.
And like a Russell Wilson stan, Russell Wilson bad. Off the Russell Wilson train. No longer I hope that the Russell Wilson hate train that I have been the conductor of for 8 years rides by. Bandy Andy hopping on like an old hobo in the turn of the century hobo. Andy just grabs the rails. Bandy Andy hopping on the train, and then he's riding on the Russ hate train. Then he sees the Bengals train come by, hopping over. I mean, Bandy Andy is like you're the Frogger of fans. You're just hopping back and forth, avoiding getting hit by terrible teams and terrible players.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Again, the same thing with Russell Wilson. I'm going to change my opinion. I hope Russ turns it around for the sake of maybe some bets I've made that he's a surefire Hall of Famer that I made in last year before this season. Look, I'm going to change my opinion. Like, I'm not going to Reds games right now. We
know. You're probably a Padres fan suddenly.
But also,
You're like, how much did the Astros really cheat? Like, Bandy, Andy, are there no lines you won't cross?
I value owners that care about their fans. Right? So that was always my issue with the Bengals. And they're making
and yet yes.
hold on.
You took $25 in cash and you literally stuffed it right into Mike Brown's front pocket. And you're like, that's for you. I'm gonna take this hat. Thank you.
It's $12. It's $12. Get at Costco. It's a cheap hat. No, what I was gonna say is they've slowly but surely done things to make it better for fans, right? It's not all going to be perfect. And you guys can all call me Bandy, and that actually it'll make me laugh. It doesn't bother me. You know, the Super Bowl this year is in Arizona. I don't know. Do I go and Justin and I hang out? Again, it's also good for my business when they do well. Call me a sellout. I've never said I wasn't. I'll sell out for money at times. We all know that. Now let's get to the actual pick. 5.5 is tough. You're on them. I'm leaning that way. At first I wasn't this week. I was not leaning that way, but I think my only concern was such an emotional game for the team. There's always a letdown usually, but I just think they're playing so well. And yeah, I mean, I might be the number one Joe Burrow stan. Dude, Joe Burrow to me is greater than any sort of Mike Brown curse, Andy Ruther curse, Zach Taylor curse. I think he's that good. I really do. I think he is in a league right below Patrick Mahomes. And I think he's real close. So I'll go with the Bengals to win and cover. You happy, Joe?
Yeah, kind of. But also, you know who's not happy? Justin Herbert, who remembers you talking about him this way. He remembers you being like, this is the guy. He's going to be the next thing.
I still think Justin Herbert's
charters
great.
to the thing. And then they have a terrible coach. They have a down year.
They do.
Like, get out of my bed. There's only room for one.
I didn't say it. I picked
young quarterback in my bed.
I picked Justin Herbert to win the MVP and for them to make the AFC Championship. He's having a down year. He's also playing completely hurt. I'm realistic. I know we're doing a lot of jokes in here, but like realistically, he's playing completely hurt.
You're the Leonardo DiCaprio of sports, of football fans. Wherever the hot young one is, they just get a little old, they get a little bad. You're like, get out of my house. Certainly there's got to be another hot young something around here. Russell Wilson it's like Russell Wilson is like a Leonardo DiCaprio girlfriend who turned 26. You're like, I will never speak to you again.
That's hilarious. It's funny you said that. My girlfriend literally just texted me a headline. Russell Wilson is officially in the doghouse after he and Ciara face off in carpool karaoke teaser.
Andy's like, I'm not going to even read it or watch this article. Thanks, honey. But like, I'm off the Russell bandwagon.
I assume I'm not clicking on the link. I assume he's in the doghouse with his team. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. We both are taking the Bengals. Let's move along. Battle of Texas, Texans, Cowboys in Dallas. Damn, the spread's gone up. Dallas is 17-point favorites. They opened at 14, Joe. So I'm up first. It's a huge spread. It's an absolute monster spread. I just also don't know how the Texans can score. But God, that's a big spread. I mean,
wait, what is it now? It's 17?
17. It opened at 14.
Yeesh.
I watched that Texans game last week, a lot of it against the Browns, because I was curious how Deshaun Watson will play. Hey, they just can't score points, man.
No, they cannot. But okay, go ahead.
Is there an injury?
No, you first or I'm
Yeah.
first?
It's just so big. Um,
I mean, Davis Mills is starting in. You know that.
oh, I didn't know that. So he's back
Yeah.
at the helm.
Yeah.
It's so big, and the Cowboys are killing teams. I don't care. You know, I'm gonna go Texans. I can't believe I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go Texans.
So yeah, it's a tough one for me. I don't know how many times I've gotten burned on the Texans this year. 17.
I mean, they got to win by 18. I mean, that's just.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go on the Cowboys. This is a we've had the same 3 picks to start. This will probably burn me. I don't love this. It is way too big. But also the thing about the Cowboys is this is what the Cowboys do to their fans. Like you talk about Bandy Andy. This is how the Cowboys love to be Cowboys and rope in their fans. I'm almost getting more and more confident that the Giants beat the Cowboys in a playoff game as they like continue to dominate shitty teams.
Yeah.
I wish that there was a chance for that to be a first round game. So sadly there isn't.
All right. Well, you'll take the boys. I'll take the Texans. 1 o'clock. Kirk Cousins is back. He's in Detroit. The Lions are 2-point favorites.
This is to me, I will truly say this. I do not understand this. This line was 1 to open. It didn't make any sense to me. The fact that it's gone up to 2 makes no sense to me. I have shit on Kirk Cousins and the Vikings nonstop. I've shit on the Lions nonstop. So we could say, oh, this is, who knows what's going to happen in this game. But to me, from a straight up gambling standpoint, when the line opened, I said, I don't understand it. It's a division game. To me, it's so obvious that this is where's the game being played?
Detroit.
Yeah. To me, this is so obviously a 2-point Vikings line. Vikings favored by 2 should be, it'd be 5 in Minnesota. It's 2 in here. I'm on the Vikings so fucking hard on this game. I love that there's even like a money line. I don't care about Kirk Cousins. I don't give a shit. Like, no. The idea that the Lions are favored in a division game against a team that's significantly better than them record-wise. No.
Yeah.
I don't care what game Vegas is playing.
Well, I seem to agree, especially with the Lions winning all those games in a row.
Wait, dude, on Monday, it was Lions 1, and you were like, I don't know, Praino. I don't know. I think it is Lions. I think you even said you were going to pick the Lions.
Well,
That's
I don't
okay.
know what,
You can cut. You can get that B can be Bandy Andy and ball control Andy.
well, I don't know what I said Monday because I obviously don't remember, but the idea that the Lions are going to keep winning, I'm just going to hedge against that. The pendulum is going to swing back. And I know you want to get a pick here, but no. Maybe I was confused. Who knows? I'm going to go with the Vikings as well. All right, moving right along. Jags, Texans. This one is in Tennessee. Tennessee's
a
only
tough week for the Texans to be playing the Cowboys and the Titans. You mean
Titans. Sorry.
okay?
And I said it's in Tennessee. That should have made more sense. Okay, so the Titans are 4-point favorites at home. I am going to take the Titans to win and cover against Jacksonville.
4. I don't like 4. I'll take the Jaguars to keep it close. I think this is a field goal game. The Titans disappointingly unimpressive last weekend against the Eagles. I think that the Titans win this game, but I think the 4 points. I think this is a Titans field goal win.
Okay. Well, I think they step it up. I think after last week's game, I think I don't know. I think they.
Do you think the
well.
Titans? Do you think the Titans win a playoff game this year? They will. They'll likely. I mean, they're running away with the AFC South.
So they'd be a 4 seed. They play either like a Bengals, Ravens, Jets, Dolphins. I'm going to say no right now.
Yeah.
All right. Eagles against your Giants. This one is at MetLife. Big spread, 7 points. All right. You're first, but I already know what I'm going to do.
Stuff. I actually think the Giants can keep this game close, but I also could see it being like the Cowboys game, a close game all the way through and just not being able to hang on. I'm going to take the Eagles to cover.
All right. I'm going to take the Giants to cover.
Oh, man, that's killer.
Yeah, that was a no-brainer for me, games I looked at. All right. Ravens, Steelers. This one's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 2.5-point favorites.
Really?
Now, this opened Pittsburgh +1.
Wow.
Obviously Lamar's not playing. Here's the thing. Like, Tyler Huntley, again, I don't think he's that bad. Like,
did we get a call from our favorite Matt Ryan hating Ravens / Colts fan?
No.
Wow. He called like 40 times in 1 week earlier in the year. Remember when he was like, sorry, I know I couldn't fit that all in 39 calls. This is my 40th call. Now he's just off the radar. Do you think he's okay? Do we think he's sick?
Well, he probably listened to me and I said, I don't want any more calls about this situation.
Yeah, but the situation has changed. I don't think he was listening to you, Andy. I think like so many of the dirt balls over the years, it's just like Bandy Andy. I think eventually Joe Praino was proven right, and he jumped off the train and he hopped on the train going the other way.
Okay. So then
This train making stops at Russ is a Hall of Fame junction. And Andy's like, well, I got to get off this train. Where's that train going to?
I love how I'm not allowed to change my opinion. And for the record, I think Russell Wilson, for me, Hall of Famer, it's TBD right now. It went from guaranteed to like, dude, you've had such a bad year. You got to have 2 decent years to right the ship. I'm not saying Russ isn't a Hall of Famer. I'm saying I don't know anymore. Back to this game because I'm up first. Again, this point spread has really just completely changed from Ravens 1-point favorite to Ravens 2.5-point dogs. I mean, this is if I'm the Ravens, this is a must win. Even though it's a tough division game, the Bengals are supposed to win. You have the Bengals your last game of the year, but it's also in Cincinnati. I'm going to go with the Ravens win and cover, man.
You think they win the game?
Yeah.
I'll go with the Steelers. I think the fact that it's in Pittsburgh, I think, I'm not the world's biggest Mike Tomlin fan, but I think taking advantage of a backup quarterback, seeing blood in the water, a chance to, upend the Ravens season. I think at this point you're the Steelers. You're trying to have growth and you're trying to play spoiler. I hate that it's gone to 2.5. I loved it. I love this game as a Steelers money line pick when the Ravens were favored. But that being said, that's sort of why I'm here. The game hasn't gone to 3.5. It hasn't gone to 4. If you think the Steelers are going to win the game, how do you not pick them if it's only 2.5? So that's what I'm going to do. I hate this pick, but I'm also got to play some strategy here. My boy Kenny Pickett, let's go.
All right. Chiefs at Broncos. Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites.
Am I first?
Yeah, this game started at 7, so it's moved 2.5 points in favor of the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. The Broncos can't score. The Chiefs coming off a loss.
I agree.
They're going to get it going.
Yeah. All right, we're both on the Chiefs there. All right, Bucks Niners in San Francisco. Niners have Brock Purdy starting. The Niners are 3.5-point favorites.
3.5.
So I literally went to sleep last game for the Bucs. They were down 16-3. There was exactly 7 minutes and 3 seconds left in the game. I literally said this was the most boring game ever. I turned it off. It was about 10:45 Eastern time. Went up to bed. Got on my phone in the morning. Couldn't believe it. I mean, the Bucs, I just don't understand. They just cannot move the ball. They just can't. Like that fluke win doesn't mean much to me. Then again, the Bucs D plays pretty good. Like they're not gonna give up many points. I think Shanahan's too good of a coach. I don't think the Bucs get within 3.5. I think the Niners win and cover.
I think this is an ugly game because the Bucs can't move the ball. The Bucs D's pretty good. The Niners have a third stringer playing, but the fact that it's in San Francisco, I just think it's an ugly game, but I think it's, 17-10, 17-13. 17-13, the Niners still cover. I got the Niners to win and cover.
All right. Panthers, Seahawks. It's in Washington. I don't know why the Seahawks are only 3.5-point favorites. You're up first. I mean, I'm already obviously saying my pick, basically.
Yeah, I also think the Seahawks cover.
Okay.
Panthers going that way. I don't like it.
All right, we're both going Seahawks. Sunday Night Football, Dolphins, Chargers. This is in LA, SoFi Stadium. Miami's 3.5-point favorites. All right, I'm up first. Chargers, they stay in these games. They can't score. Like they're too. They take too long to get going. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Thank God. I mean, at this point, we were getting into serious ball control trouble. I'm going to take the Chargers to cover. I just think the Sunday Night Football, this is I feel like this is a good game. The 0.5-point hook, I'm going to go with the Chargers to at least keep it close.
All right, final game Monday night. Another kind of stinker. Patriots at Cardinals. Pats are 1.5-point favorites. Who do you like?
Well, I like the Patriots. This Cardinals team, not on Monday Night Football. I think Bill Belichick pulls out some stuff. I think we have a decided coaching advantage here. I really don't love, if this was a pick'em game, I'd feel a lot more comfortable about it. But I just don't see the Cardinals winning this game on Monday Night Football. And if I don't see them winning it, what does the 1.5 matter?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with the Patriots as well.
This could be the end of me this week. This could be the end of me because a couple of the different picks I've made are simply playing the game, and I lost. I went down one last week. This could be the end for me. This could really be a make or break week for me. I need to pick up 1 or 2 games here to get to keep it close. I think we only have 4 different picks. Maybe I got to go 3-1.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. That is our week 14 NFL picks. Give us a call, 310-359-8365. We'll get to some more calls next episode, but I got to get moving here. Follow us on social at The Dirty Sports. You can follow me at Bandy, Andy. It's Bandy. Andy. No. You can follow me at Andy Ruther.
You should change your Twitter name to Bandy Andy. Unfortunately, Elon Musk won't let you.
Well, that's only for verified people.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So what they're doing is they're working. The problem is he says things and he doesn't go to his engineers. So what I read was you're gonna be able to change that, but he'll implement things or they'll say things and it's yo, dude, we can't do this right now. So you're stuck with that until they change that.
And also, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, they're making a big deal out of Elon. What's different? But did you know that our friend Ethan over at Jameis 101 is literally posting videos of Hitler, and they're still up like a week later, like 5 days later, just Hitler videos.
He's lost his mind. He's gotten
He's
crazy.
posting Hitler videos.
He's gotten crazy political. He needs to stick to his bread and butter if I was running his account.
Well, his bread and butter is psycho Jesus freak stuff. So the idea that he's doing Hitler shit now is sort of his bread and butter, isn't
No,
it?
but like I'm looking at his Twitter right now. He's quote tweeting Times Man of the Year, which is the president of the Ukraine. And again, I don't know enough about it, so like I have no comment because I just don't care enough. But he's really adamant about the president of Ukraine, which did make me laugh. Like, to me, that's funny. Like, the Jameis 101 guy now is furious about the Times Person of the Year.
Yeah.
I actually want to take credit for our show. I think everything started to unravel when we put him on blast, and he went beyond just posting Jameis stuff and Jesus stuff.
To me, the irony of the whole thing. So we have a Jameis Winston stan, right? Who's also posting Hitler videos. I don't know if any, I don't want to spell it out for you guys here, but those things are in direct competition with each other. You're a fan of Hitler and Jameis Winston?
Well, what he did was he posted a Hitler montage using Kanye's music, and I've seen the montage. Is it still up?
Oh, yeah.
It is? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's up.
Where is it?
I checked last night.
I don't see it anymore.
I promise it's there.
The best part was that you texted Randy and I, and we started having conversations about something else. And you're like, whoa, are you guys ignoring that he posted a video of Hitler? And I'm like, no, that's wild too. But let's talk about some other wild things he's saying.
Yeah. You can follow me on all social media at Joe Praino. I got Instagram, I've got TikTok, I've got a Joe Praino comedy page, or you can follow me on Twitter where I'm at Fix Your Life, aka Joe Praino, Plano, Texas, 1125 to 1128, which I will be until I guess Elon Musk sells Twitter, or until it goes out of business. So follow me there. I've got shows coming up in and around Los Angeles. I'll be down in Irvine next week for Comedy Juice at the Irvine Improv on Tuesday. Got San Diego later in the month, a little bit before Christmas. I'll be in New York following our trip to Cincinnati for some shows the first week of January. I've got Las Vegas back at the Comedy Cellar in mid-January. I've got Wilmington, North Carolina at Dead Crow Comedy Club at the end of January. All those and more, joeprano.com/shows. Or again, on all social media at Joe Praino, except for Twitter, where I'm at Joe Praino in Plano, Texas.
Okay, so it looks like he took the one Hitler video down, but he just tweeted last night at Ian Rappaport the same Twitter or the same Hitler video. And his caption is wild. His caption on the Hitler video is Dennis Allen after Jameis Winston broke his back and ruptured his tendon, and after Mark Ingram tore his MCL. I don't understand the Hitler montage video.
Are the Saints off this week? Saints have a bye? I guess so.
What's crazy is I know where he works allegedly. Dude, you're posting pro Hitler videos. That can get you fired.
Yeah, but that's why he's anonymous, Andy.
Oh, Ethan, you're not. You're not anonymous at all. All right, guys, that's our show. I gotta go watch some Bengals game film with Randy Ruther. We're gonna virtually watch it, break down some things. I can take my lumps, Praino.
Bandy, Andy.
I mean, it's not everything you said was true. There's shades of truth. There's always shades.
We've talked about it a lot, but I feel like we need Tug Coker back on the show. His Cowboys are surging, but also so much. I mean, Tug has just Tug is so white because he has lived in your shade for his sports fandom. I feel like what an opportunity to get Tug back on and be like, Andy is on once he's wearing a Bengals hat right now.
I'm gonna bust out the Carson Palmer jersey. I'm gonna put a line through it and write Burrow, so I don't have to buy a new one. All right, guys, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.